Good evening and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin, Principal of Simply Improve Health, and I help people to train better and longer and recover more quickly, have improved sleep, and enjoy general health, better health in general. I can't talk today. Using simple plant-based and native to the body products and simple techniques. This evening, I'm returning to the subject of communication, and I've talked about this in the past about communicating with our whole hearts and being fully present when we communicate with others. But today I'm focusing on a slightly different area, and it's the 80% of communication that goes on where nothing is being said at all. According to researchers and general wisdom, 80% of the communication that goes on between human beings is nonverbal. Now, that means that there's a whole lot that we're not actually saying to each other, but what is it that we're not saying? It struck me in the last week that it's what we don't say that can actually play us some dirty tricks, if you will, but certainly can get us entangled into situations, into discussions that weren't intended at all, simply because of the nonverbal communication that's going on. And you can think of examples of that. Ladies, we're always hearing from men, you always bring up things from 20 years ago and blah 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 blah. Whenever a heated discussion takes place, and that's very true. We Men and women have a tendency to throw up all the old hurts that have never been properly addressed in the moment when a fork got misplaced, got stuck in the dishwasher, or I can't find my favorite tie, or where's my shoes gone. Whatever it is, it becomes a flashpoint, and all the old grievances that had not been communicated come flooding out. And that's the downside of not communicating with one another clearly in relationships. I mean, it could be, parents and children, it could be between partners or spouses, but there's always the risk that what's being said, the 20% that's actually being said, hides an iceberg underneath of everything that's not being said, and sooner or later you're going to crash into the iceberg. But there's also a positive side to nonverbal communication. Men's, we know, have a different communication style from women. And as such, they have a tendency to think, well, I put food on the table and I pay the mortgage and I put gas and oil in your car and change the oil. I'm showing you I care for you. I'm sticking around, aren't I? I'm taking care of you and the kids, aren't I? I mean, that's sort of the underlying dialogue that's going on in his mind, but you're not hearing that. All you're hearing is, you know what? I really wanted you to go to go shopping and for you to take the kids, but you were too busy watching basketball or whatever the case may be. And it's that inner dialogue, that inner fantasized dialogue that's going on in each person that comes blurting out and flooding out in the heat of an argument. All that unexpressed thought and feeling coming out in the wrong way and at the wrong time. Now, there's also, women, we like to hear those three little words and all that good stuff too. Men do as well. I mean, men like to be told that they're appreciated and that they're loved. It's not enough to keep the house clean and every now and then to make have a candlelight dinner or go out for dinner. Sometimes you just need to say the words and not assume, as I did in the past week, that that the person understood that you love them, you appreciate them and what they're doing, and or how they're helping you in some way. Sometimes you just need to say that. And I was forcibly reminded of that in my own relationship, that I had to actually put my hand up and say, well, of course I appreciate what you're doing for me. He says, well, you never say so. And I was shocked. I was actually shocked. It was just like, in my mind, it was just understood that I appreciated. But no, that 80% of nonverbal communication was not hitting the mark at all. I had to say so in order for it to be heard and understood. They say that the greatest misunderstanding between two people is language. But I think if lack of language can be just as misleading and cause just as many problems as communicating in the wrong way. So it was just a reminder to me that communication is not just about what we say and how we say it. It's not just what we do and how we do it, but it's also about what the iceberg underneath of what we're not saying to the people around us. And sometimes, that you can say it best when you say it nothing at all. Giving a person a hug at just a moment when they really need it, or a pat on the back, to give someone a smile on the way to work. You don't know what the other person is going through. Maybe that smile is something that will keep them from doing something desperate or feeling desperate. So think about, as you go through your days and weeks and months, what are you not communicating? What are you not saying? What messages are you giving off that aren't being verbalized? You may be very surprised if you were to ask people what impressions or messages do they feel that they're getting from you. In other words, what vibes are you putting out there? What energy are you showing to people? It was an eye-opening to me to realize that what I thought was indication of appreciation wasn't enough. The silent appreciation wasn't enough. Sometimes you just need to say the words. So I leave you with that thought, and challenge you to see where you are saying the words, where you are holding things in, holding things back, perhaps out of prudence, and that's fine. But sometimes certain things just need to be said, particularly when you're talking about people's deepest feelings, and telling them that you appreciate them. People like to be appreciated. I think it was, Mark Twain, who said he could go all day long on a single compliment. Maybe we need to be doing more of that, to praise and compliment and recognize each other more. Giving people their due, their day in the sun, as it were. And you'll bring a little bit of sunshine in your own life for doing so, because that frees them up to do the same for you. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I hope that you've gotten something of value out of that. Thanks for listening and watching. If you have any comments to make, please leave them. I love reading comments and responding to them. If you'd like to leave an emoji, love hearts or thumbs up or wow, whatever it is, go right ahead. Love those too. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening and great rest of the week and weekend. And I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.